Hello. Our next step is to get the slug to move. Now, it's a little bit difficult to think about how we do this, but what we're going to do in order to move it, we got to follow this process. First, you find the last item in slug. For instance, in ours, the last item is 4, 4. Then we find the next pixel in the direction that we're going. So if this is going to the right, the next pixel would be 5, 4. And then we add this pixel to the slug list. The slug list up here has three points. So if we add 5, 4 here, then we're doing good. And we got to make sure we have the right color there. And then we have to take this first pixel and turn it back to black or blank or the color of the background. And then we want to get that pixel out of there. Uh, so it doesn't uh, mess up and keep making our slug longer. So to do this, we're gonna define move, and our first step is to figure out what the first and the last thing is. So let's if we have a list here, if I say last, the last one that we need to find is this 4, 4. And to access that, we take slug and we index with a -1. If we index with a -1, it goes to this list and takes the last one of it. And then while we're here, let's take the first, because both those are important in our process. Now we're going to take next, which is a list of the last. It just turns this into a list. All right, now if direction, let's just say the direction equals right. And we haven't defined what direction is, so we'll have to fill that in up here. Direction equals right. And we'll make it so we can change that later on. But so if the direction is right, we want it to keep on this slug, we want it to keep on going, but once it's here, we want to wrap around to that side. So if the direction is right, if last of 0. So what that's doing is saying this last thing here, if the x value, because that 0 represents indexing the first thing here, if last 0 plus 1 is equal to 8, keep in mind, if it equals 8, we're off the screen because 7 is the highest it goes. So if it equals 8, it's got to wrap around back here. So if it equals 8, we want the next 0 to equal 0. So instead of 8, let's bring it back to 0. If otherwise, so else, next 0 equals last 0 plus 1. So if it's going right, we just want to add 1 to it in the x direction. Unless the value is going to be 8, then we want it to wrap around. All right, so once we have that, now we want to take an append that's adding next, so adding our new point into our list, and then we want to set the pixels. So we're going to, next 0 is the x, next 1 is the y, and we're going to set that to white. And I should have put a little comment here saying that that's white. Now, we also want to turn the other one to black or blank. I'm just going to say blank because that's what we need here. All right, so we have a blank here. And so, so once I set my pixel to white, on this side, I want to turn the back pixel to blank. So pixel. So we're going to take our first value, just our x, and our x value from our first, and then we're going to make it blank, which is just 0, 0, 0. Or we could have said black if we wanted to. And now our last step is we're going to remove that first value from the list. All right. Now if we run this, we're going to be a little disappointed. Doesn't work. Nothing's happening. We didn't tell it to do anything. We didn't tell it to draw the slug. We didn't tell it to move. So nothing's happening. So we could say move. We could say draw slug. Does it do anything? It moves once. Doesn't help us out. So what we're going to want to do is while true, we'll want to do this. And that's going to go pretty fast. So let's do a time.sleep 0.3. And if we do that, we're going to have to import time up here. And now if we run it, there it keeps going around and around and around. Took a second, but now it's working. This isn't ideal, but this is a start to the program.